What upgrades do we see that Ben Johnson could make to the Chicago Bears roster in year one for him? So what is going on, y'all? Fox Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, it's Metafall here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, hit that subscribe button down below. Would really appreciate that. Hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. And let's just hop right into it, man. We're talking about year one roster changes, potential roster changes that could be made by Ben Johnson, right? Because this is just the first year for him, and the Bears are not a fully finished product, but you can expect him to make changes here. Now, we're only going to be focusing on the offensive side of the football here because Ben Johnson is an offensive head coach. So let's just start there, and I want to start with the offensive line because we all know this is the biggest area to upgrade when we talk about the offense. Now, specifically with the offensive line here, we only have 4 guys under contract for 2025. Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones, Kieran Amagaji, the rookie we drafted last offseason, and then Ryan Bates. Don't expect Ryan Bates to be on this roster after this offseason here or for next season. I just feel like he wasn't available and, kind of a flop here. Maybe he comes back, we'll see, but I think the resources could be better spent elsewhere. Now, when we talk about the offensive line here, work with me, right? The tackle spot, the bookend tackles, they should be fairly set here. Darnell Wright certainly at the right tackle spot. He should be there. I'm keeping him there. Obviously, he's under contract still on his rookie deal. He's very solid. I know he had some ups and downs this past offseason, but to me, I'm good with Darnell Wright. We're good at that spot. Left tackle spot. I know Braxton Jones is hurt. He's recovering, but the expectation is he is going to be ready for training camp and for this season. So to me, even Braxton Jones is a guy who is serviceable. Now, could he be upgraded? Sure thing. But I believe he's good enough to where you don't have to worry about him as much as you worry about the interior of the offensive line. And this is where the upgrades need to be made. Now, the question really becomes, what do you do with Tevin Jenkins, who is going to be a free agent? Do you bring him back? Or do you move on from him? Because if you bring him back on a team-friendly deal, he is also solid when he's healthy, obviously. That is a problem for Tevin Jenkins. That's the reason we're having this discussion. But I wouldn't be opposed to a team-friendly deal for Tevin Jenkins. Bring him back, on a short team-friendly deal and put him back at the left guard spot. And I think we're good there. Obviously, you want to add depth there in case he does get hurt. But to me, much more feasible to replace 2 offensive line positions rather than 3 in just one off season. So let's say that happens. Now, all you got to worry about is the center spot and the right guard spot. And at that point, you look at free agency and you know the big fish is out there, right? Trey Smith, or we hope he's out there. If the Chiefs don't re-sign him, you throw a bag at Trey Smith. You have the salary cap space. And if you get Trey Smith, that's a home run. Slot him at the right guard spot. Now you just got to worry about the center spot. You can upgrade that in free agency. You can upgrade that in the draft. Now, if you don't get Trey Smith, there are other guys in free agency. Kevin Zeitler comes to mind. Will Fries is there. So there's guys out there that to be had. And then, of course, we have the draft as well. But free agency comes first, so I expect the Bears to at least make some moves there before we hit the draft. So to me, all of a sudden, with these changes, you're looking at an offensive line of Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins. Let's say it's a Drew Dalman in free agency we sign, and then Trey Smith or a Zeitler or Will Fries, and then a Darnell Wright. That's a very solid upgrade for the offensive line. And don't tell me we can't have these upgrades in one offseason because Washington did it, and their offensive line was not supposed to be good, and they're very, very solid this season. So to me, that's how the offensive line changes happen. Now, moving on to the skill level players, let's go to the running back spot because to me, the running back spot is interesting. Is DeAndre Swift the type of running back that Ben Johnson wants? Because he was in Detroit when Ben Johnson was there, and they decided to move on from him, and they decided to go ahead and sign David Montgomery, draft Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, we have nowhere close to a Jahmyr Gibbs on this roster, so what do we do with DeAndre Swift? Swift is serviceable, guys, but the problem with Swift is he lacks vision. He does not hit the holes when they open up, and he is shifty in space. That's where he's good, but sometimes you just got to hit the hole that's created for you, and you just got to go downhill. He's not a power back. He's not a downhill guy. We do have Roschon for that, and we did use him in that position, but you can upgrade off Roschon as well. So then you look at perhaps the draft. I know people talk about Ashton Janty, but you're going to have to shell out a nice draft pick for him. He's going to go pretty high. Do you go that direction? Do you move off of DeAndre Swift? Because Swift, it's hard to move off of him this season because he's got a cap hit of about $8 million. I think a dead cap hit of that because we did sign him to a 3-year deal for $24 million. So it's much more feasible after this year in 2026 when the cap hits like $1.3 million. So my expectation is what I believe happens, we keep DeAndre Swift, we have Roschon Johnson, we probably do draft a running back or maybe add one in free agency, but I don't think it will be a starter, if you will. I think it'll still be Swift and Roschon, and Ben Johnson's probably just going to make it work. Yeah, obviously we could maybe talk about the hot name in Ashton Janty, but I don't know if I see that happening. I think we invest more in the trenches. I could be wrong. We'll see. But I expect Swift to still be the running back, the starter for this upcoming season. After this, big question mark, things could change. Wide receiver spot. You got DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. They're not going anywhere. The real question is Keenan Allen, do you bring him back? Again, team-friendly deal. Maybe we could talk about it. But I believe Ben Johnson is going to want to add a lot of speed to this roster. He's going to want to get this roster to go downhill, right? Keenan Allen had some great chemistry with Caleb, but when you have an offensive head coach that wants to use a lot of motion, that wants to use a lot of play action, that needs guys to get downfield in a hurry, Keenan Allen doesn't fit that bill. And I'd rather have a DJ Moore or Rome Odunze in a power slot role rather than Keenan. So to me, I think we move off Keenan. And I think we go ahead and we probably draft a receiver here. And free agency, not a lot of guys that intrigue me. It's a lot of older, injury-prone veteran receivers. We're talking about a Chris Godwin or a D-Hop or Amari Cooper. Like, none of these guys appeal to me. They're fine for depth purposes, but if you want to add some speed, you got to go ahead and look at it in the draft. So to me, I think we move off Keenan, and I think we draft some speed at the wide receiver spot. I haven't mentioned Tyler Scott. Maybe he gets an opportunity with Ben Johnson, so we'll see there. And then as far as the other positions, man, tight end, I mean, Cole Kmet, I still expect him to be the starter. And then, you know, maybe behind him, we really don't even use the other tight ends, so we'll see what happens. Gerald Everett was a disaster. Mercedes Lewis, I mean, at this point, he should just be a coach. So I don't really expect a lot of changes there. And then quarterback spot, come on now. Caleb's going to be there for hopefully the next 10, 15 seasons. So we'll see there. So overall, folks, it's 3 kind of keys here with upgrades to the offensive line, upgrades hopefully at the wide receiver spot with some speed, and some power at the running back spot. So that's really the 3 spots that I think he can potentially look to change. Otherwise, we're kind of set with the, you know, big names, if you will, on offense. So Caleb, DJ, and Rome, Darnell Wright, these guys aren't going anywhere. So let me know what you guys think. Agree or disagree. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts as always. Thanks for watching.